Dr. Martin Rutherford, certified functional medicine practitioner and chiropractor.
Dr. Randall Gates, board certified chiropractic neurologist, also a chiropractor.
This is Keys to Success number 130. We're going to talk about something seemingly pretty straightforward and simple today. That's sleep. We're continually trying to help people to be able to have the tools to not just get better through the program. Now, we were just talking, a lot of people come into our program, they're very clear that they're not sleeping, and that's not a good thing. But a lot of times when you get out of, maybe when you get out there and now you're feeling good and things are wonderful and you're eating right and you're doing all these, you're doing your exercises, and maybe sleep maybe doesn't rise to the top of the importance scale for a lot of people. For people in general, there have been several studies that have come out just lately on kids and how computers and cell phones are now the #1 cause of insomnia, and then how not sleeping can presage Alzheimer's, which is a topic we're going to discuss next week. In other words, you don't sleep very well, that could be in fact, the one study that I'm referring to said, is Alzheimer's caused by not sleeping, or is not sleeping caused by Alzheimer's? And we're going to be discussing that next week. And so sleep's kind of an important thing. I mean, I've always thought, there's certain basics to staying healthy, and they're like uber basics. They used to be uber basics. I mean, the uber basics are like, sleep, get some exercise, get a lot of fluids, drink a lot of water, have a positive mental attitude, and eat right. But eating right has become not such a simple thing today. Then your Dr. Gates's approach with patients when they're starting care usually is, if the patient's not sleeping, that's usually our first point of attack, or close to it.
One of them, yeah. It's definitely
because.
Because if you're not resting, you're not shutting off your brain, then it's really hard to basically heal your physiology. So that's what we've seen. We got to calm down that stress response. And
it's mainly the stress response that creates insomnia when people come in here. So for the person who comes in here, if Dr. Gates is giving you certain herbs or botanicals, or he's giving you certain breathing exercises or certain instructions on sleeping, it's certainly something you need to continue to follow through on. Sleep should not be something that is ever cut for other things, for watching television. If you're going to stay out late once a week or something like that, that's okay. But really getting on a specific sleep cycle is very important. And I think only now am I starting to see, sleep's always been a big thing to me because I've always had to sleep a lot. And it's probably because I got mono when I was 21. And it turns out I had it for almost a year, which we now know I probably had developed Hashimoto's at that point. So I've been fighting that little bit of tiredness forever and having to sleep more than I've always thought would be, like, why do I have to sleep this much? And when I sleep, I feel good. And when I sleep, I can think. And when I sleep, like, my head is clear. You talked about neurodegeneration, like how lack of sleep creates what? Inflammatory processes.
It does, and it increases stress hormones. And that's what we'll be talking about next week. We're going to talk about an article discussing the relationship between sleep and Alzheimer's. Is poor sleep and Alzheimer's disease really an effect of the disease process or a cause? So we'll be talking about that.
Yeah. But the other side of sleep is, don't do things that are going to cause you to stay awake either. Don't do, if coffee makes you like jittery, don't drink it beforehand. Try to relax an hour beforehand. The big thing, a big thing now today that we've added on is television, 800 different stations that keep our attention, and we go from one thing to the next. Next thing you know, we're up until 1 o'clock in the morning. Then when you go to bed, now your brain won't shut down, especially if you already have a stress response going on. The cell phones are proving to be disastrous for the kids as far as sleep goes. And they always show these pictures of the kid sitting in the bed with the blanket over him, and you see the cell phone light shining through the blankets. You need to be proactive from both ends. You need to be proactive from relaxing before you go to sleep, getting a steady sleep schedule, not staying up late regularly and losing sleep. as far as only sleeping 5 or 6 hours for our patients, probably is not a winner. Okay, and it's a huge part of your physiology. When you don't really, tissues really don't heal well until you get into REM sleep. It's the stuff that maybe you've heard a million times, but I want you to hear it a million one because I hear it, because I see it. The person comes in and their eyes are droopy and I didn't sleep last night. And if it's not because of the fact that they came in that way, then we need to kind of talk to them about, look, you know, you're on a thin, you're on thin ice here. You can't be sacrificing 8 hours of sleep if you want to get better. You know, so you have to really, I have to sleep longer than that, frankly, to really stay on top of it. And I can tell when I only get like 6.5 or 7 hours of sleep, which is only because I have to do it because of something else, I'm not sharp that day. I'm not sharp. I'm dull. My brain isn't as good. I get tired in the afternoon. You know, and that's it. So it's but that also perpetuates further damage for those of you who have immune responses or inflammatory responses. So so sleep. So it's a boring one maybe this week, but it's a huge cornerstone to getting well, which is why Dr. Gates attacks it immediately, and it's a huge cornerstone of staying better. And so pay attention to your sleep. Treat it like it's really important, because it is. Don't feel like you're missing out on life because you have to spend an extra hour or two in bed. And that's what we wanted to share with you this week.
Mm-hmm. And then we'll be back next week talking about Alzheimer's and sleep like we mentioned, and appreciate you watching. See you then.